Hello. So this is the fourth week of classes. You are about halfway through this whole course. So we have a little bit more to do today. So last week we learned how to use the tongue, and I got to see your progress on that. So excellent. Keep working on it. Today we're going to do I'm going to show you a couple other ways to make rhythm that you can use instead of the tongue, maybe with the tongue to get more complex rhythms and sounds. So basically it's all up to your own imagination and ability on how you can do these different rhythms to make playing the didgeridoo a little more interesting. So I thought today I would pull out the big gun. So this is my didgeridoo from Australia. It is eucalyptus. It is the real thing. It's not a plastic tube, so it's going to sound a little bit different. It is much longer than my plastic tube. So plastic tube is only there, and the wood one is that much longer. So if I line up the bottom, so plastic one ends there, and then there's still that much more. So it's going to be a lower note. Just the physics of the longer tube produces a lower pitch. So plastic, that sound. The wood one, so much lower. And this is actually termite hollowed log. So it's a real Australian, authentic, quite a high quality instrument. So just to review, the buzz, it's a lower instrument. Using the tongue in various ways. Right, so I put a couple of the other things in there, just kind of snuck them in there. One of them being, you may have heard a little bit at the end where the sound kind of went wick, kind of low and then ended up high. For that, I was changing the shape of my mouth. So we all know the vowels that make up the English language, A, E, I, O, U. If you pronounce them, it's I, U, I, U. So when we change the shape of our mouth, we also change the vowel shape and different sound. So I'm going to go ah, e, ah, e. So to do that, you see that I'm actually compressing the mouth cavity, and it changes the pitch. So you can hear it's rhythmic that way, and if I change that, if I add other things like ooh and ah and stuff like that, so it changes the sound. You kind of get that little buzzing in there, and so that is one way that you can also affect the rhythm. So if I combined that with the tonguing, it kind of stresses the rhythm that way. Another thing to do is using the breath itself. Now, if any of you have ever done martial arts like karate, there's that little yell that you do. Different practices, different countries call it different things, but some, I think the Japanese call it the ki or something like that, the kai. So it's a little, so you kind of compress your ab muscles and push it a little bit. So if you do it really hard, it kind of stops the whole air for a moment and then it resumes. So that's quite strong. If you don't quite do it that hard, just kind of then you can get a little kind of a pulsing going that way. So combine that with changing the shape of your mouth and with the tongue, you can get all sorts of stuff. So all that was just one breath and just changing the way you can see my mouth moving that way, and then doing pulses that way, and then also the tongue. So what you need to practice this week is nice and slow. Just practice with your breath going kind of little pushes like that. The stronger you get, maybe it's going to be too much. Maybe you need to back off a little bit. So if you're doing how I did before when I was going really hard and it was just actually stopping the whole sound, ease off just a little bit. Just try that nice rhythm, steady. So if you're going, try to get a little more control. Try to control it. Try to get it even. And even if you like watch the second hand on your watch, or that's if you have one of those old-fashioned ones, or watch the seconds on the digital watch and then try to do a pulse for every second, maybe every other second, every third second. Try to get that kind of control so that you can control the breath and it doesn't control you. And also practice changing the shape of your mouth. And those are the main two, but if you can do this next one, it's really cool. So this is what we call vocalizations. So this is using the voice box. So, which of course we all use when we talk. Ah, ha, 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 ha. When you sing, when you make any noises that come out of your throat, it is the vocal cords that are vibrating. Now, you can engage those when you are buzzing your lips. So I can play the didgeridoo and I can sing Happy Birthday. Now, because my mouth and my tongue are kind of otherwise occupied, you're not going to hear the words, but you're going to hear me singing through the instrument. So here's my attempt at Happy Birthday while playing the didgeridoo. So it's kind of more of a humming, but you should have heard it, and you can hear how it kind of fights with the sound sometimes, and sometimes it makes the sound, the buzzing actually sound stronger, sometimes it makes it sound weaker, but that's something you can do. And the Aboriginals would use the vocalizations to make a lot of the animal sounds. So like if they were going to do a dingo sound, those are the wild dogs of Australia, they would do a little yip, yip, yip. And a little howl at the end. So they would use that to make lots of fun. Oh, my dog just perked her ears up at that sound, so made her go back to her wild roots. Okay, so again, we have the breath pulses, we have the changing the shape of your mouth. Think of your vowel sounds, A, E, I, O, U, and the soft forms of it as well. A, E, A, So using all those is going to also affect the sound, and you can use that rhythmically as well. And then vocalization. Now to practice this, you have to practice engaging the voice box at the same time as buzzing. And this can be tricky. So take it slow. And just be happy with small successes at first, because it is a lot of coordinating and it can be tricky. So take your time. Just stuff like that. Try to go, ah! while you're playing. And try to make those sounds, and then try to make longer sounds. And so pretty soon you can be singing happy birthday at the same time you're playing as well. Okay, lots of stuff to practice this week. You have your assignment below. Make your comment on the blog. There are some questions that you might use to start your comments from. And as usual, check all the requirements for the week, and see you next week.